Welcome to The Pour by Moxie Labs. Thanks for joining us today. I'm James Koran, and this is the show where we sit down with the founders, marketers, and innovators we work with. We ask one big question and we finish up the conversation before we finish our coffee. And speaking of coffee, last weekend I was down at the Jersey Shore. I picked up a batch of Pirates Blend from Ocean City Coffee in New Jersey. And they've got 3 or 4 locations that are right there on the boardwalk. It's fantastic. Today's guest, and welcome, is Chris Lindinger. Chris spent the majority of his career in tech in the client service and customer success side of the house. So he's led teams at a number of companies, including Tonic Design, which was the agency where we met and got to work together. Shout out to Tonic Design, as well as Stuzo, an agency that was later acquired, and more recently at Rovertown. So Chris, welcome to The Pour.
Thanks for having me, James.
So let's get into it. Moxie is just venturing into product development on our own behalf with our FNGRFOOD platform. So I think our big question today, and my question for you, kind of having experience in this space, is when it comes to balancing the things that your customers are asking you for versus all the other priorities competing for your limited development time, how do you strike that balance and decide what to build?
Well, it's a tried and true question, right? But really, it's something to grapple with, especially when you migrate from a managed services relationship to a product platform relationship, right? Prior new ideas, you immediately went into conceptual and design, and right, it was great. But when you're at the product centric, it takes a bit of nuance, right? And so what I've found helpful is, first you have to obviously establish a degree of rapport with your customer, right? So what I have seen great success with is trying to better understand what's the outcome you're trying to achieve, right? It might be that prescriptive feature. And we saw this probably together, right? Back in our managed services days where a client will come asking for an SOW for a certain thing. And we would go, well, what's that thing supposed to do? So all the while, you're bringing it back to the product, it's understanding that outcome. Obviously, first evaluate, can we achieve this outcome using existing features? And the answer might still be no. And I've actually used this as an opportunity to build even a better rapport with customers, because then it's, hey, I understand this is the objective. We don't have this feature to meet that per se, but let's better understand this outcome. If we're going to go and decide that we are going to put a feature on the roadmap, well, let's make sure it not only solves their need, but it also could maybe fill the need of other customers, on the platform.
I mean, that makes sense. And I love the way you talked about shifting the focus from what is the feature that you're demanding be launched next to what is the output you're trying to achieve. That's way easier said than done, right? What are some of the strategies or some of the tips you have for folks that are running product management today to help them kind of create that shift and get whoever their customers are, be them internal or external customers? How do you kind of change the way that they're thinking? How do you drive that reset from, gosh darn it, I just need these features, to, well, wait a minute, here's what I'm trying to achieve?
Right. Well, one of the key things that usually these teams are already doing, right? They're holding business reviews, right? QBRs, quarterly business reviews. And while I've seen across the board, and I've heard feedback from others where a lot of product shops use that as an opportunity to sell and make it about them. And I've seen better success when maybe it's more of an 80-20 split, 80% about the customer, right? Maybe there's a bit of 20% there, but all this to say, right, establishing a business review is one approach where you have on some frequent cadence. And it all starts with, what are the business goals of your customer? They don't have to be about an app or loyalty or whatever, right? Are you trying to move more food, right? Are you trying to move a different day part? What are the strategic business goals? And then using that will help inform, right, the outcomes they're trying to solve for. And as long as you have that understanding in conjunction with what are the personal goals of your customer, right? What gets them promoted? And that usually gives you enough fodder to earn the right to have that discussion with them and say, and redirect them to either a different solution that inevitably might still need to be put on the roadmap, or figuring out a way to satisfy their outcome.
That's interesting to me. I think it's like you start to peel back that onion, right? And you peel it back from like, hey, I need to launch a new feature. We need guest ordering on the app ASAP, right? And as you start to peel that back, you start to get into this idea of like, well, what is the business trying to accomplish by enabling this feature? And I love how you added this third layer of actually looking even a little bit harder at the people, the executives and the managers and the folks that you're working with on day to day, and trying to figure out what they need to accomplish personally in order to make this a success as well. We need to kind of thread that needle and understand like, not only what does my direct relationship need to accomplish, but like, what is their boss trying to accomplish, or what is the SVP trying to accomplish? And only if we align those things can we truly find a solution that works for everybody, right?
Well said. And right, like us at customer success and client services, right? We're at that forefront edge. And when there's some traction, right? When there's certainly something there, right? Quick with regrouping with our product team and then getting them involved, right? You know, especially when you hear from more customers about it needing a particular thing, the market's telling you that the platform needs that thing.
Yeah. I think it comes down to a little bit of it is about, understanding what those KPIs are and digging into those business reviews. But I think to your point, this idea of, is the team that you're working with listening to you? It really starts with that, right? And there are so many companies out there that are working with partners, vendors, platform providers, agencies, that they leave the conversations with those folks and they feel like they're not listening to what I need. They're pushing their agenda. If it's 80-20, it's 80-20 in the wrong way. It's a fantastic reminder for all of us. Like me, I spend most of my time working and talking to clients, and we should all keep that first and foremost. I've actually drained my cup already. If you've watched the show before, that means we're essentially out of time. So Chris, I want to thank you again. Thanks for joining the Pour. Thanks for sharing this insight. It's a good reminder for anyone that's worked in tech. Make sure you're listening to your customers and make sure you're thinking strategically, not just about what they're saying, but also about what they really need. Thanks again.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.